Waldo Politics is now live. Streaming just chatting, protests. Tariffs. TTS. Castlevania. Getting started soon. Drop any links to cool stories in the Discord. Discord.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. Um, let's see. What Paisley? Hello, mate. Definitely
not a bore.
but definitely not a bore. I agree with you, Shinsinto. That is definitely not a bore. He may be a bot. I'm not entirely sure. Hello, mate. You stream pretty cool. They're right so far. That's why I followed you. I will like you to make you a friend and be a fans. If you don't mind, kindly chat me on my Discord username. Okay. Well, if it's a robot, it's the nicest robot we've had on Kick so far. Kick.com, filled with robots. That's the nicest one. So you get to stick around. Paisley, too, unless you're a robot, in which case we'll have some fun with the robot. But if not, thank you for being here. You just turned a frog gay. The robot turned a frog gay. Folks, the bots are turning frogs gay. They've automated the gay frog process. It doesn't require people anymore. The AI robots can turn the frogs gay. And I'm here for it. I'm on board. So you've turned a frog gay. I'm proud of you. Happy to have you here, robot. Even if you are a robot. If you're not, that's cool too. Hi, everybody. How's it going? You can see, if you're looking at me, you shouldn't. You should have me on a second screen, minimized, listening to me while you play a video game. But if you are looking at me, you can see the red on my forehead. I was outside yesterday, and the grotesque Daystar burned my flesh. It singed me because I am a creature of the night, and I'm not happy about it. But it was supposed to be cloudy yesterday. The weatherman failed me again. I checked with the weather prognosticators. They told me that it was going to be cloudy, and I was happy with that. I said, yes, overcast. That's where I live. I love it. Love being cloudy and not seeing that disgusting, grotesque Daystar up in the sky. But they were wrong. And I had my darkspawn flesh singed by the most holy of lights.
Not cloudy in Washington. Climate change got us again.
Well, it is cloudy right now. They were just off by a day. But yeah, I was at the big Seattle protest yesterday. It was very fun. I went over there. I got there a little early. Let's see what happened. I got there early, followed the people with the signs. I walked all the way down to the Space Needle in the little area that's down below there. I stood around. I talked to some people. I gave some high fives. I got a little button. Let's see, we got a little Karl Marx button. Ain't it nice? And then I didn't have a sign or a flag or anything, so I just kind of stood around and clapped and yelled and then gave high fives. I posted a couple of pictures in the thing, but how does a Daystar disappear at nighttime? It does. I don't know how. It just simply does. It goes somewhere. It goes on the other side. It goes down. I see it. I see it go down all the time. And then I cheer. I'm like, yeah, and don't come back. It could be magnets, yeah. Don't come back, you disgusting Daystar. Then, let's see. I walked around. I got there way too early, so I just sat on a cold stone bench and ate my lunch all alone. And it was nice. It was lovely. I was I was surrounded by nature. There were trees and bushes and shrubs and flowers and all kinds of stuff. It was very nice. Ate a little lunch. Then it does so by nerd shit, like gravity and rotation and circumnavigation and shit like that. Very nerdy. All of those things. Gravity, rotation, cyclical revolutions. It's all very nerd shit. I agree. 10 past 11. So we just say that it goes away. It's chased off by the moon. The moon is constantly chasing the sun away. And we appreciate when we thank it for that. Because we are night spawn and creatures of the dark. But clearly, I mean, damn holy lights burning my flesh. So, yeah, I talked to some people. I cheered. I listened to some people talk. And then after all the talking was done, they played some music. And then everybody politely walked around on the sidewalks with their signs. and waved at cars and yelled at people as they drove by. Nobody really, we didn't even shut down any highways or anything like that, or any roads really, because it was just, Seattle's a walkable city, so it was just like, hey, be nice, be polite, and just protest from the sidewalks. And so we did. And then I went home. And that was the thing. That was the whole thing. That was it. So let's talk about that first, I suppose. If you got any links, toss them into the Discord. It's right here. Look at that cool, super cool Discord. Go on over there. Leave links to photos or anything like that, or stories that you want to talk about.
Is Seattle still on fire from the BLM riots?
It has never been. Well, Seattle got a little bit of the horrible, nightmarish, society-ending destruction. I say with a sarcasm. That's sarcasm, you guys. From the BLM riots, it was Portland that got wiped off the map. It doesn't exist anymore. Portland has been removed from the map because of the BLM riots. Yeah, Portland burned down, then got knocked over, in that order. So it got burned, and anything that was still standing got knocked over by the BLM rioters. Everyone knows that. They had to remove it from the maps. I called Mr. Rand McNally himself and said, "Hey, listen, Portland's gone. Man, you gotta cut that shit off the map." And then they just removed it from the map. There's no longer a dot on the map for Portland any longer. And if you do see Portland on the map, that's because it's an old map. It has not been updated. So, and we can probably blame that on woke somehow. I don't know. But anywho, let's look at the protest. Isn't it nice? Where did I go? Let's start here. Here we go. Oh, webcam screen. Then we turn on the window capture. Doop, 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 doop. There we go. Ken Klippenstein, very cool guy. You should listen to him. You should follow him, and you should read what he writes. And then that would be cool. It would be cool if you did. He's a cool guy. I went to the anti-Trump protest. People I interviewed were united in one thing, and I wasn't expecting it. Oh my God, I wonder what it was. Let's listen to some videos.
We're here to protest the mistreatment of the American people and the Constitution and all of our rights.
What do you take issue with specifically?
I take issue with the fact that we've built this country for however many years just to let it fall into the hands of one man to make all the decisions, obviously going around the Senate, the Congress, all of it just to make any decisions on his very whim. That amongst with the oligarchy that make the decisions in line with those.
You mentioned Congress. How do you feel about how they're handling it?
How are they handling it? Do they?
Do they? Yeah, good question.
There are a few loud voices that are trying to do something, but there are a lot more quiet or silent people that are refusing to do anything, which is sometimes worse.
So you got this Luigi Mangione. How does that connect to Trump?
Again, that goes right along with the oligarchs who are lining the pockets of those that are in Capitol Hill. Luigi was very right when he talks about the parasites that are within the society. They are not at the bottom, they are those at the top, those that take and take and take from the rest of the people while giving very little back.
Nice. I agree. The parasites are at the top, not the bottom. Let's see what this one has to say.
What brought you out here?
Just to help support the anti-Trump movement.
What about Trump is it that you want to oppose?
Everything. Mostly his denial of climate change. It's ridiculous. The world is not going to, you young people aren't going to have a good life at all. It keeps changing constantly, and it's all getting worse. We've reached the tipping point, you know. The ocean can only absorb so much carbon dioxide. And it's crazy.
For the air they use up.
Yeah, the fossil fuel companies are using the air as a dump for the last 200 years. You know, when somebody sends sewage to a sewer plant in their industrial, they have to pay extra for the extra strength and for depositing that stuff in our waterways. It's never been that way for the fossil fuel companies. They have the old tobacco company lobbyists working for them to convince everybody that, you know, climate change isn't a problem. Well, they're just putting the money in their pocket and using the atmosphere for, you know, their dump.
So that's interesting. Climate change is your primary motivator. When I look at a lot of the signs, it seems like it's about Doge, it's about Ukraine, there's all sorts of issues.
Yeah, all those are important, but they're subsidiary because if the climate tanks, which is gonna if something don't get done, everything else doesn't really matter.
There's more immigrants, more wars, more fighting for the water we drink, more fighting for the air. all that.
But our U.S. military, when it was a good military, a couple years ago, they know about climate change and how it impacts the whole world and what it's doing with people migrating and fires and drought and bad farm crops. It's a driver in things. It's terrible.
How do you guys feel about Congress and how they're responding to the new administration?
Oh, it's ridiculous. They aren't doing anything.
They're afraid.
They're afraid of Musk and his big money. Not only being ridiculous, shrink government, ruin it and drown it in a bathtub, the right-wing policy that they've had for 30 years. They're afraid of Musk spending all this money on primarying him out. They won't say a word.
Absolutely right. Everybody is terrified of Elon Musk running a primary against them because he will pay lots and lots and lots of money to get the people he doesn't like thrown out. And that is why you shouldn't allow so much big money in politics. It's a bad idea.
1,370,000+ veterans died in our nation's wars. And they all swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And what's happening in Washington now is spitting on their graves.
It's incredible.
It's a good example of why the Democrats lost the working class votes and why 62% of veterans voted for Trump. There's no spine. Nobody's stepping forward. Nobody's going to jail. There isn't a single person in Congress who's willing to go to jail.
So you want to see more assertiveness?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why that's why Trump is what he is. He's a surrogate father to a lot of weak-minded people from a Freudian perspective. So we got to do a lot more of these.
I really do think that that's an important part of left versus right, conservative versus liberal ideology in politics. When a conservative sees Trump, they see him as a father figure. They call him Daddy. Daddy's back. Daddy's going to take his belt off, and at some point, Daddy has to come home, I think was the specific term from Tucker Carlson. And what's his name? Who's that actor that is crazy? Mel Gibson said it the other day. Daddy's going to come home and take his belt off. It's gross and weird. Conservatives see the government as a father figure. So if you insult someone's father, they don't take it very well. My dad could beat up your dad kind of thing. Liberals and the people on the left see the government as our child. I see it this way. The government is my child, and I need it to act properly. And I need to use discipline to make it act right. It's not, and if you insult the government, that's because I did it wrong. If you insult the government to a liberal, they're like, yeah, okay, it's wrong. How do we make it better? The conservatives, on the other hand, say, no, it's never wrong. You can never be wrong. You cannot insult my dad, because they don't think they can change it. It is what it is, and it is the way it is, and it needs to be stern and strong. And if it's a wimp, if your dad's a wimp, he needs to toughen up. I really do think it comes down to that. I think it's something in their brains. I really think it is. And this guy's, I think, nailing it. I think he's getting it right.
And that's what it's going to take. And that's what it's going to take to win the working class vote back, is they want to see backbone. They're tired of the woke speak, the peace, love, and tie-dye. And this whole devices and this stuff.
No, the economy's tanking because of the tariffs, sure. But apparently you kill woke, you go broke. No, woke is good. It's decency. It's equality. It's good. The people aren't upset by woke. The woke hasn't ruined the economy.
It started during the Vietnam War, when the elite were able to go to college and stay out of the draft. Well, people like myself went to Vietnam and watched our buddies die. And yet,
see, he's really close to class consciousness here. He really is. He's so close to class consciousness. The rich man goes to college. The poor man goes to work. Sometimes the poor man goes to war. That is class consciousness. This guy is just close to being there. Now, he seems to me not to be gay or trans or a lesbian. I suspect that he is none of those things. which means he doesn't recognize their class struggle as well. They are minorities who do not get proper rights. When they ask for rights, he sees it as woke. So he's very close. If he recognized, if he just met some queer people, he would recognize that they are being tread upon by the rich and the powerful as well. And then I think he would come around to being woke. He's probably not going to go nuts to make sure that everybody is self-identified. I don't think he sends a lot of emails with his pronouns at the bottom, but he could actually be brought over to the left by good arguments from the Dems, from the liberals, from the people who need to bring him over. Kamala Harris and the Democratic consultant machine don't think they can change his mind. They will move to where he is and say that they've always agreed with him, and they will abandon the LGBTQ community to get this guy's vote. They will abandon the trans people. They will abandon the fight for equality. They will abandon anything that could be considered woke to get this guy's vote. And they're wrong. Bring him to us. Don't go to him. He's very close to us already. He could be voting for a Democrat who has balls, who has a spine, who has authority, and who speaks of the things that they think should be happening. But the consultant class within the Democrats don't want to do that. They put this guy in a block and they say, talk to that block. Don't change their minds. Just try and get that block to vote for you. Wrong. Move the blocks to the left.
I've been a Democrat ever since because I've gone beyond that. But my buddies turned their backs on the Democrats when that happened. We still haven't gotten over that. That's the original divisiveness. The original sin of Congress was exempting college boys from the draft during the Vietnam War.
When you say that the Congress is spitting in the face of veterans, in what sense do you mean?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
When you say that Congress is spitting in the face of veterans, what are they doing specifically that makes you say that?
We all take it. Every veteran, drafted or enlisted, takes an oath to defend, protect, and preserve the Constitution of the United States against enemies, both foreign and domestic. And right now we have a domestic enemy in the form of Trump and Musk. And Congress is doing nothing. And in the eyes,
I think he's right.
And in the minds of a lot of us veterans, it's like spitting on the graves of those millions of Americans who took that oath and died protecting that Constitution that Congress is stepping on, allowing the Republicans to step on and doing nothing.
All right, let's see. Is this America? Oh, he looks dapper. Let's look at this guy.
Here.
Just like everybody else, man, we're not happy with what's going on.
What specifically?
Oh, come on, man. There's so many things.
I know. I'm giving you a chance here to...
Honestly, the immigration, the way they're kicking everybody out, and this thing in El Salvador, come on, man. How is that even something that's happening here in America? And they're saying they can't? We get somebody negotiated out of a Russia prison, but we can't get one out of a prison that we're paying for? Where are we? Is this America? Is it?
Did I wake up in Russia this morning? No, I woke up in America. He's right. We can negotiate prisoner exchanges with Russia, but we can't get the one out of El Salvador? Horseshit. We can. We just don't want to. And I'll take a look at that here in just a few minutes because I have something stupid to say about that too. Something mean to say about it, I guess. Let's see. Let's keep going. What do we got?
It's out here.
He can't even read.
Where do we start, right?
So if it's a list, what's at the top of the list?
Human rights for everybody. Yeah. Human rights for everybody.
How do you feel about how Congress is responding to the administration?
We have to fight harder. We have to fight now because there's going to be nobody left to fight. And so we have to fight for everybody.
So when I talk to people out here, there is a long list of things. There's like Doge, there's Musk, there's the deportations, there's Ukraine. Which of those resonates with you guys in terms of motivating you to come out here?
All of them. Every single one. Every person is a person. And yeah, I'm here for everybody. Even for the people who are Republican, they're kids. I'm here for them. They deserve better.
Better in what sense?
They should be able to have the choice of what happens to their body. They should be able to get an education that is actually like an education and not indoctrination.
Oh, yeah, education. We'll look at that. Well, let's look at that right now. Since you mentioned education, I've got this one brought up over here. Look at this. Listen to this guy. That's Lutnick. He's in charge of your entire economy.
Great American workers. We are going to replace
on other
the
networks.
armies of millions of people. Well, remember, the army of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated, and great Americans, the trade craft of America, is going to fix them, is going to work on them. They're going to be mechanics. There's going to be HVAC.
That's what we got to look forward to, guys. This is why they're killing education. You don't need a college degree to put tiny little screws into an iPhone. Obviously. Remember the Foxconn building where they make all the iPhones and they're all basically slave labor working for almost no money, and they have suicide nets? That's what Trump and Lutnick are going to bring to America. That's what they're going to bring you. Isn't that going to be great? All these jobless people, well, no, they're going to have a job working for pennies for an hour making iPhones. China's not going to make them no more. We tariffed them. So America's going to have to build all the iPhones at discount wages for almost no money. It's going to be great.
Hello, Waldo.
Oh, hi. The man who like. Thanks for coming in. You're in Twitch chat, which means the lovely lady, robot lady Canooch, reads it out. And I've got a robot, and she reads text for me. It's very nice.
Waldo the bigger pussy in Wokelandia. Wow, long time no seen, brother. Haven't seen you since the election. I told he was going to win, blowing a kiss.
Well, yeah, I thought he might have a chance to win, obviously. I mean, I said it then, too. I said he might win. The numbers were all over the place. The polls can't be trusted. But, yeah, so good luck. Everybody's going to apparently have a job working at the Foxconn factories, building phones. That's going to be fun. Let's keep reading about the protests. Let's keep going. What is this lovely lady saying?
Ask you guys what brings you out here?
Oh, we came to support the march, and we're anti-Trump.
What about Trump do you oppose?
His stupidity, his claims about the handicapped people. When he made fun of that handicapped reporter, that was just pure, you know what I mean. I am not a conservative, I'm not a liberal, but I absolutely oppose Trump and everything he stands for.
How do you feel about how Congress has responded to him?
None. What response?
What response?
I
Good call.
There hasn't been one. He just overrides everything they do. So
I have a question for you. Do you think your country has bad intentions, considering your country has a currency with occult imagery and New World Order in Latin?
Oh, do I need to get my hat? Hi, the man who I've got my tinfoil hat on. Do you think your country has bad intentions? The country isn't a whole being. Donald Trump has intentions. You can say they're bad, sure. Considering your country has currency with occult imagery and New World Order in it. New World Order, folks. They're coming for you. They put their secrets on the money. The Illuminati symbolism is right there where everybody can see it. I used to be a conspiracy theorist. And then when 2012 petered out, I got better. So let me guess, your gig now is moaning about the Trump tariffs. Yes, they are ruining the economy. Donald Trump is an idiot, Tyler the Alpha. The things he says aren't true. The things he pushes are bad and literally harming us. He is started up a gulag in El Salvador. That's a bad thing. He can send people there with no evidence, or with scant evidence, the skipping due process and ignoring the court orders. We're going to get into all of that here in just a few minutes. He's a bad guy doing bad things that are unconstitutional. That makes me unhappy. So, am I moaning about that? Yes. Thanks for coming.
Are you really American? Where's that accent from?
The speech that I'm speaking American, boss. I sometimes put on my southern accent. I was born in Texas, and so I can kind of talk with that type of accent. The Alex Jones comes in and out whenever we need him to. And then just being around. Let's see. What else do we got? So, yeah, let's keep listening to this lady. Let's see.
Get rid of them.
So it sounds like there's a long list of things Trump is doing that you wouldn't like, but what would be towards the top of your list of things that you don't like?
Face with tears of joy,
Deportations are
Waldo,
really
you crack me
worrisome
up,
to
brother.
I've been working with a Rohingya woman from Burma, and I worry about her family getting deported. They have green cards, but I don't know that a green card is going to save you from that. I think they'll take you anyway. That's the biggest issue, I think, on my mind, is deportations.
Yeah, they are canceling green cards. That's true. If you followed all the rules and got your green card and the judge says you're allowed to be here, they can still send you to a gulag, slave labor camp in another country, and won't bring you back. Because we can look at that. There it is. Let's see. Where is the other one? Where's the one about the guy? Yeah, here we go. Judge orders Trump administration to return wrongly deported man. The administration has falsely accused Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Other than being related to the occult, what do you think the eye refers to? The eye is above a pyramid in a desert, which makes me believe it has to do with Egypt, and the eye in Egypt refers to Ra, the sun god of Egypt.
Well, so everything's a symbol. Symbols are strong and important, and I can swing a flag around, and you'd know what my ideas and my thoughts are based on which flag it is. If I have a blue and yellow flag swinging around in the background, you'd know where I stand on things. It's a symbol.
I don't know what you haven't gotten, madman, and banned me already. You are a very rare woke breed, Waldo.
Well, because it's fun to talk to people, first of all. I don't have that many. I don't think that you're a robot, Tyler the Alpha. I had a robot. I thought I had some bots in earlier. I banned the bots, but I don't think you're a bot. And I'm going to convince you someday soon, Donald Trump is going to do something that you're not going to like. I suspect he already has. And what I want you to do is recognize that and then say, okay, well, that's too far, and then move a little bit left. You don't convince people by being exclusionary and gatekeepy. It's not a good plan. Purity testing is a bad idea, and I don't like it when the left does that. I try not to do that. So you're welcome to swing by. Come on in. And what I want you to do is hear the things I'm saying and recognize that they're correct, and then say, hey, well, maybe Waldo's got an idea.
So if you don't believe the US is controlled by an occultist deep state, then why are there polytheistic deities on the dollar with New World Order?
Because you can describe anything that way. Honestly, the all-seeing eye is a symbol for, hey, we're a thing. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's not doing anything. That eyeball there is not controlling your mind. It's not moving you around. It's not changing the definition of the dollar. It's not doing magic. There's no such thing as magic. The man who there is sway within the media, but not mind control. They're not.
You are right, and I am dumb for supporting Trump. Waldo.
I'm glad you finally come around, Tyler. I appreciate that, and I accept your apology. Thank you for finally coming around. Donald Trump feeds the feelings you have.
If I made the swastika on my country's flag and then I say it has nothing to do with Nazi Germany, it's just a symbol.
Sure, but what is this eyeball symbol? Everybody knows what the Nazi symbol stands for. You can say that, but we all have feelings towards it. What does a normal American have feelings towards that pyramid with an eyeball? They don't. They got nothing. They just think it's on the dollar. It doesn't have any specific meaning to them. The swastika has a specific meaning to lots and lots and lots and lots of people. The yellow and blue flag 10 years ago had no meaning to the regular American. So the yellow and blue flag didn't mean anything to them. They'd see it and be like, I don't even remember what flag that is. But today, at those protests yesterday, there were yellow and blue flags saying we support Ukraine because we know what's happening in Ukraine. We recognize what's going on there. If you go to the protest yesterday with a Mexico flag, I know what that is.
All hail Waldo, he has the truth. We are all dumpks. All hail Waldo.
I appreciate you saying so.
Don't you think the person who designed the bill did it intentionally as reference to those deities?
If they did, the significance has been lost on us. It really does. The significance of that pyramid with the eyeball is lost on the American people. Symbols only work if you know what they mean. Symbols only work if you if we recognize it. I'll show you a wonderful example right now. I'm going to go into the memes of Twitch. I'm going to go on at random. I'm going to pick one. And I'm going to hit enter.
Anil.
I don't know what that symbol means. It's a symbol.
Dumbest of side quests.
It's a symbol. Look at it. This is a little symbol. I don't know what it means.
Trump feeds on what?
Oh, he feeds your feelings. All politics is based on feelings. You have feelings.
Just because you don't.
Yeah, if you don't know what the symbol means, it has no fucking power over you, my guy. Donald Trump feeds your feelings. If you feel like the people beneath you are despicable and disgusting, then he will feed that. He will feed the feelings you have.
Do you know what it means doesn't mean that it doesn't say something about the country THA chose it.
It can say something about the country that chose it, but if that saying is 100 years old, it has no value. It has no meaning at that point. I don't know what this symbol means. It has no power over me. If you don't know what the anneal, I don't know what the fuck it is, emoji means, it has no power over you. You could post anneals all day long, and it won't matter because it's nothing.
Anil.
You can post it all day long. It doesn't mean anything. It has no value. It has no appreciation. It has no point.
Don't you agree that at a minimum it means that around the time the bill was made there was high occult power in your country?
Or they used it as a symbol. But that's lost to time. Who cares? There are old sayings that we don't care about anymore. You know, the one about don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Most people don't know what that even means. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They don't fucking get it.
Give me an example.
They don't look a gift horse in the mouth. What does that mean? What is it about? What is it even talking about? What, horses? Mouths? What are we talking about? Nobody knows. I know what it means, but that's because I study language and appreciate the English language. And what I'm telling you is that if you have a symbol that has lost its meaning, it has no power over you. Can the symbols have power? Yes, of course they can. The yellow and blue flag, like I mentioned, the Mexican flag at a rally yesterday would mean a certain thing to you. A Nazi swastika, like you said, has power over people. It influences your thoughts and tells you what the other people are trying to tell you. But as far as the pyramid and
so
it's
basically
got nothing.
Everybody got to be dyslexic.
Everybody got to be dyslexic? Well, not really dyslexic. Well, I don't think that's dyslexic. Dyslexic is getting everything backward. So, Tyler, the feelings that he gives you makes you feel good.
It's not even just America. To this day in the European Union there's the Lucifer Trust as a part of the union. The Lucifer Trust is probably what you recognize as the weirdos with purple clothing and triangles on their head. They have a pyramid with an eye on their head and do demonic rituals.
Okay. So, who are they voting for? What influence have they had on policy? Demonic rituals are literally nothing. There's no such thing as magic. They can do a demonic ritual. As long as they're not stabbing anybody and hurting anybody, I don't care. It doesn't do anything. I'd really not like them not to kill goats as well, but if they do a little song, a little dance, songs and dances don't do anything. It's no different than a rain dance. Nothing. You could do a rain dance. Doesn't make it rain. Don't criticize the gift when offered. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, Souls. And I know that. But there are people who use those terms and don't know what they mean. They don't have any idea. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm going to finish off with this one article. Then I'm going to start up a video game, and we can discuss all these things.
You lost me on that, bro.
Yeah, I know, because I'm having like 3 conversations at the same time. I apologize. What were we talking about? Here they are throwing people out.
Waldo never saw Footloose.
I never saw Footloose, apparently. Okay. Let's start up a video game so that I can have all these conversations at the same time. We're going to minimize that. We're going to turn off the web capture, the window cap. We're going to turn on the game cap here in just a minute. I'm going to start up Castlevania. We're going to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night while debating with chat. So stick around. Thanks for being here. I'm going to continue to talk to you, and the TTS will stay on, and we can talk about all these things. Where is my video game? I know you're there.
They help Israel, and personally I believe in magic, but if you don't, I think you would agree with me that the child sacrifice they perform is bad.
Yes, child sacrifice is bad. I don't know that it's actually happening. I've not seen any evidence. I've seen a lot of accusations that it's happening. Haven't seen any evidence. The very cool tinfoil hatters tend to skip the evidence part. They make a lot of accusations. Don't think they bring a lot of evidence. Let's do game cap on. There it is. Look at that. Wonderful. So I'm reading chat. I'm talking chat. I'm playing Castlevania. So
there he is, our president, elected by the majority of the people of this country, which I know it hurts you that people have common sense.
Common sense is a feeling, Tyler. Yes, he got elected. And that's why I'm not saying that he cheated. That's not a claim I'm going to make. The evidence for him cheating wasn't there. So he won. He got 1.5% more votes, which means he wins. He won the Electoral College, which means he wins. Now, does that mean he gets to break the Constitution, shit on all things that have ever existed, and disregard the judges? No, that's not what that means. He doesn't get to do any of that.
But in Biden's case, he was.
He was what? Biden won?
Not sure about nowadays, but when they were more publicly known, their initiation process for women was gang rape and then getting her pregnant and sacrificing the kid when it's born.
The man who, that is an accusation that's going to need a lot of evidence. You've given me no evidence. You've given me a fairy tale. Bring some evidence. Link me to something that literally happened, and we can look at it. But honestly, do you remember the satanic panic that happened way back in the 80s? Yeah, that was nonsense. Pizzagate wasn't real. Thanks for feeding the trolls, Souls. They filled the basement with concrete before Pizzagate was real. They filled the basement with concrete before the moral citizen could liberate the children. No, there's no such thing as Satan. It's not real, man. It's not real. I'm militantly atheist. There's no such thing as magic. There's no such thing as God. There's no such thing as Jesus. There's no such thing as Satan. There's no magic. There's no rituals that you can perform. There is only man. With MAGA, there's always a huge butt. Thanks, what you see. There is a huge butt. But Tyler, Biden did not cheat. There's no evidence that Biden cheated. The evidence got thrown out in court. You might not like it, but your common sense says that he cheated. But your common sense, as I said, is a feeling. Good news, everybody. I got 2 heavenly swords. If you watch to the anime, you'll see these super cool swords. Now I can fling swords at people. And if you do both at the same time, you get a super move. Ready? Super move. Here it comes.
So do you think it's not real light? You are voluntarily ignorant.
So you think it's not real? Voluntarily ignorant. What's real? The evidence that they provided? The evidence they provided was lacking, my friend. I looked at the evidence that Biden cheated, and that evidence was circumstantial and not backed up by facts. It was all accusations. And accusations aren't good enough. You need facts. You need evidence. You need court cases that they all lost constantly. He lost 50, 60 cases because the evidence wasn't there. Courts love evidence, man. That's what courts are good for. Evidence. They weigh the evidence. They count the evidence. They look at all kinds of cool evidential stuff in a court. And Johnny lost in court.
Satan is very real. Unless you live in a utopia, which you are not.
No, that's not real. A magical goat demon that lives underground? That's madness. That's nonsense. And he does rituals and magic to scare you? No, that's not a real thing, man. That's a belief you have. And belief is a weakness of the mind. Stop having beliefs. I don't have any. I have thoughts, I have ideas, but I don't have any beliefs. You shouldn't either. They're bad for you. Lead you to talking about goat demons, you know?
So if you don't have beliefs, you are brain dead, LOL.
No, man. You don't know the difference between a belief and a thought. You don't. I have thoughts. I think that Bernie would make a good president. I think that the sky is blue. I don't believe that the sky is blue. The evidence before me has suggested that the sky is blue. Lots of people I trust have told me that the sky is blue. Lots of poets have discussed the blueness of the sky. So I think it's blue. If you provide me enough evidence, I'll change my mind. You can't. You know? I mean, it'd be really hard to provide that evidence, but you could try, I suppose. If you believe that taxing the rich harms our economy, you could measure that. And in measuring it, you would find out the answer. Conservatism is based on belief.
The Trust have denied claims of these acts, but ex-members consistently give the same stories. What they do publicly admit is the support for a new world order. Ailey wrote about a coming age of world unity, shared resources, and spiritual leadership, led by a hidden group of the rich.
That's an accusation, the man who like. You describe an accusation. Tyler, yes, I'm an evidence guy. I like evidence. It has to be weighed, measured, determined. Counted. If you can't falsify it, if you can't compare it against anything else, then it is just a claim. And that's what I think our new friend, the man who like, is talking about right now. Claims. Dang it. He's talking about people claiming that these things happened, these acts happened, and these horrible nightmare scenarios happened. He's claiming it. And there's no evidence. And that's what happens when you start to investigate conspiracy theories. You fall a little flat on the evidence side. Damn, that guy hits hard.
What would you see as evidence? Internet sources of this? Like a physical paper in your hands? It is publicly known knowledge.
No, it's not. It's publicly known accusations. People say lots of things. I have read hundreds and hundreds of pages about a lion who lives on the other side of my wardrobe, and he fights a witch. Hundreds of pages I've read about this. But I don't think it's true. I suspect that it is fiction.
Yeah, the evidence you want to see.
Well, provide some evidence that wasn't discounted in court, Tyler. Tyler, there is lots of evidence of Biden cheating, but then it got thrown out in a court who measures and determines whether that evidence is correct. And it was not determined to be correct. It was determined to be fraud, incorrect.
Publicly known knowledge is a cop-out for not providing evidence.
Oh, that's the shodel. Okay, so the shodel is a cool little piece of equipment as well. So you put it on, and it just looks like that. Look how it's a curved sword, and you swing it. But if you do a Hadouken, you fling it. So you fling it. It comes back as a boomerang. But the heavenly swords are better. I am going to put on a shield, so I can increase my defense a bit.
Your state turned red in 2024?
My state turned red? No, Washington stayed blue.
I asked him what he sees as evidence. I don't have videos of this since it's old. Do you want Wikipedia articles? A PDF of her books? Digitalized papers?
I would respect a...
This isn't an accusation. She literally wrote books about her ideology.
Yeah, that's an accusation, my guy. If you write a book about what I mean, if she wrote a book about a magical talking lion, that would also be an accusation. That's not real. There are lots of books about things that are not real. And I'm not saying that she's lying about what happened to her. I'm saying that there wasn't any magic that happened. If this woman, whose name was, I've lost the name, was in a crazy cult and they did crazy things to her, yeah, those things happened. It doesn't make it magic. That makes it a crazy cult full of crazy people.
No, she, the leader of the Lucas Trust, wrote this book, not someone else. It's the leader of the Lucas Trust written
Okay,
the
great.
book.
I accept the idea that this lady did some bad things and she used her power and authority over weaker people to do things, to steal from them, to harm them, to take stuff from them. That doesn't mean that the devil exists. That doesn't prove that there's a goat demon underground counting all my sins. She can do the, what's the word? The rituals. But that doesn't mean that they have magic powers. If I'm asking for evidence of magic powers, you can't just describe a person who thinks they have magic powers. I'd have to see it. I'd have to see them move things with their mind. I'd have to see some sort of prognostication. Are they killing goats with their minds? Are they moving things with their minds? They're not. They're not doing any of those things. Let's see. What's in YouTube? I distinctly remember having a conversation with my mom when I was 12. How Apprentice season 2 didn't make any sense. She said, "Yeah, he's just a fake."
You would have made a good money-chasing lawyer.
You would have made a good money-chasing lawyer? All lawyers do that.
So I want you to think about what is going on, right? This woman admitted herself what she did and that she wants a new world order. She wore a triangle with an eye on her head. Now your dollar bill has new world order in Latin with an eye with a triangle.
So? I'm not arguing. I'm just, okay, great. She wants a new world order. She puts a triangle on her head and she pushes for that to happen. If she puts a bill up in Congress, I'll look at the bill and I'll read it and say whether we should vote for it or not. Who cares? Symbolism has only the power that you give it.
At the manhole, like, you are totally correct.
Who cares? So he did, the court rulings, photos, videos, depositions, analyzed and picked apart. Yes, all those things are good evidence. Anyone can write a book. A full body of holistic evidence would be better than a single paper of a book. Yeah. Without data, you're just an opinion. I agree with you. 10 past 11.
Waldo.
Truth cares. Okay. Well, okay.
It's not about the symbolism.
Then tell me what they've done in reality to make my life change.
It's about the fact that your government is on her side.
Okay, then what have they done while they're on her side to make these things happen? You've given me anecdotes and books and opinions. You don't know what reality is. You don't know what facts are. You don't know the difference between an opinion and evidence. You don't. You're proving it to me right now.
They're supporting Israel, for example, killing kids.
That's not ritualistic. I don't support Israel. And I don't want them to hurt people. I am not on Israel's side. I never have been. But calling it a magical, satanic ritual is insane. They're doing bad things for bad reasons because they're bad people. And they have...
Stop acting like a bratty high school girl.
I'm acting like a high school girl. You're the one talking about things that aren't real. Your imaginary friends. So what I'm saying is, I live in the real world. Israel is doing the things that they're doing for political power. Because they want a certain group of ethnic people to be gone from there. They're doing a genocide. But they're not doing a genocide for magic reasons. And there's no ritualistic superpowers involved with it.
No, you live the world you want to see.
How do you figure? I hate the way the world is right now. I would like it to be better. I'm trying to make it different from what it is. I'm more than willing to tell you that Donald Trump won, even though there are plenty of people who were talking about how he cheated and didn't win. But I won't accept that because it's not true. You see? I think this heavenly sword is...
Ritualistic? Well, she's literally wearing Illuminati hats, worshipping polytheistic deities that are part of the occult, making satanic symbols on the ground for rituals and so on. That's just the part she admitted. There's way more stuff that ex-members say, but she's obviously not going to admit that.
That's conspiracy thinking. That is not doing anything. You can draw symbols on the ground all damn day long, but nothing's going to happen unless you do something with real politics. Creating a tariff, that's a real thing. Canceling tariffs, that's a real thing. Passing bills in the House, that's a real thing. Passing laws and enforcing them, those are real things. The rituals do not concern me.
Who we talking about?
We've got a tinfoil hatter in chat, and he's having a good time, and I'm having a good time with him. So don't go anywhere. I like you. The man who like, please, by all means, stick around. This is fun.
How is something she admitted herself a conspiracy, and supporting Israel is something we can both agree is real and bad?
She admitted that she did the things. Great. Saying that it has power over the human minds is the conspiracy, my guy. Great. She drew a symbol. Okay? Great. She drew a symbol. But when you tell me that the symbol actually means this, and it means the secret eye, and that's controlling your mind, that's the conspiracy. You got to separate the conspiracy from the reality. Where did my good sword go? My
Again,
katana.
no. Who?
It's I don't know. It doesn't matter. The man who like is talking about a specific lady who was part of a satanic ritual or something like that.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter which one. It's not like she's realistic and all the rest are not. Well, none of them are realistic, but it's not like one of them is more credible than the others. They're of no value. They are controlling your mind because you're letting them. If you think that this lady drawing symbols has some sort of control over the reality, that's a control you've given her, and you've given all the conspiracy theorists. Stop doing it. Become better. Where does her drawings of these little scribbles affect me in reality? No. It might. You can make an argument. Why is everything so weak? Oh, I've got the sunstone on, don't I? Jeebus. Let's put the kingstone back on. There we go. The man who if that's a link, it won't show up in chat. I blocked the links because of all the robots. But if you want, you can go on over to the Discord, which is right here. I can type the Discord. And you can leave
Discord
links in there. If heaven is real, Trump ain't going there yet.
Check out Waldo's videos. https://www.youtube.com/@waldospoliticalstream/videos.
I need a save spot. Get my hit points back because I am not winning these fights. There's one. Super. Sewells. If someone tells someone about Sewells, it's unverified that he exists. Yeah, there's no evidence that Sewells exists. There's no evidence that Sewells isn't a robot. I suspect that Sewells is not a robot, but you never know. You gotta understand what is and isn't real, and what is evidence and what
Do
isn't.
not question why America decided to put these symbols on their dollar bill.
Because they thought it was cool.
Do you, Mr. Waldo, do you accept politics is relative?
All politics is relative. Of course it is. Everything's relative, Tyler. Everything is relative. Of course it is. There is no objective morality. There is no objective politics. There is no objectively correct ideology. All things are relative. Except specifically
Sometimes a cool image is
real
just a
hard
cool
science.
image.
Sometimes a cool image is just a cool image. I agree. If they
Okay,
thought
evidence is relatively.
evidence is relative. Well, yeah, kind of. Evidence of what? I can show you an empty banana peel and tell you that it's evidence that someone ate a banana, but like, okay, evidence is somewhat relative. Yes, I agree. The only things that aren't relative are really hard science. And I mean like the hardest of science, like the physics, the biology and stuff like that. Real hard
Evidence is
science.
at least processed relatively XD.
It's us using our brain on that evidence to come to conclusions that gives it strength and importance.
Yeah.
If you don't use your brain on this evidence, you will be led down the wrong path. Isn't it weird that there's a pyramid on the dollar? Yeah, it's weird. Does that mean that there's Satanist Luciferians around every corner and they're controlling your every thought? No, I've seen no evidence of that. Weird shit happens all the time. And it's okay. The planet's weird. People are weird. Everybody's weird. That doesn't mean that the Satanists are around every corner. Doesn't mean that a magical goat demon lives underground.
At Valhor 666, the imagery is so blatantly obviously related to the Egyptian idol Ra that it's as lame of an excuse to say it's just a cool image as if I made my country's currency a picture of Hitler with a swastika and say it's a coincidence.
That wouldn't be a coincidence. I wouldn't call that a coincidence. Okay, I think Trump would be better for the country for X and Y, and you just have to suck it up because that's relative and you don't have any moral high ground on me. I never said I had moral high ground on you at the moment. I mean, I probably could find some moral high ground, but even that moral high ground is relative. High ground is relative. Morality is all relative. There is no objective morality. I'm telling you what mine is. You can tell me what yours is, Tyler, and the end. That's it. There is no winning a moral argument. Charles Manson made good music, 10 past 11. There you go. See? What is good? Maybe I would listen to Charles Manson's music and find it bad. See how that's an opinion? Tyler, your morality is an opinion. We can argue with it.
So half the country think the other side is dumb and vice versa, and there's no truth?
I didn't say there's no truth. I said it's relative to where you're standing.
I would say that image of Hitler is less obvious than your dollar bill. You could say it's Charlie Chaplin with the Buddhist symbol for peace, but for the dollar bill you really cannot play it off.
The man who, nobody knows what that symbol means. You can tell me what you think it means. By all means, tell me what that symbol means. And it has no power over me. If you do not recognize the symbol, it has no power. It has no authority. It means nothing. And that's what I'm telling you. We're just stuck.
I've seen that whole life keep going.
We're stuck in a old-fashioned thinking. The people who don't know what it means just know that it's the dollar bill symbol. That's all. There's nothing there. As for Tyler, the people disagree with each other all the time, yes. And you're just kind of stuck that way. This is about education, economics, morals and values, which are all relative. I could be making lots of money on the stock market right now, and there are lots of people who are losing money. That's relative. If you really, really, really don't like a thing that Joe Biden did, then you vote for Donald Trump, yes.
Do you hate the GOP's message on God, family, and country? Do you hate that?
Do I hate it? I think it's wrong and ignorant. But hate? I hate some of the things they do, sure. But that's a feeling. Again, they give you feelings. All politics is based on feelings. If you heard the GOP's message and said, oh my gosh, that makes me feel good, it makes you feel good. Yeah? And you're going to vote for it. If you heard it and it makes you feel bad for the people who don't fall into those boxes of God and country, then it will make you feel bad and you won't vote for them. All politics is based on feelings. Trump is like Manson, yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know him well enough. Just got zapped.
Okay, let's start. There's a pyramid in a desert. This is obviously Egypt. Then it's an eye. This is a reference to the Egyptian sun god Ra, whose symbol is an eye. He was the highest deity in Egypt, that's why he's at the top of the pyramid. Then it says New World Order in Latin. In America, occultist groups worshipped the sun god Ra and advocated for a new world order where there's basically a deep state controlled by the occult.
Okay, the man who
deviate
great.
And yap. Do you hate the GOP's core message of God, family, and country?
Don't deviate. Okay, let's go in order. The man who if I don't know any of that because I'm a fucking motorcycles, man, I hate motorcycles. Tyler, I hate motorcycles. Okay,
that's not their core message.
The man who listen, if I don't know any of that, the symbol does nothing to me. Just like this emoji that I've never seen before. I've never seen this emoji. It means nothing to me.
Big brother, big brother, big brother, big brother.
It means nothing to me. It means nothing to the people. If you want to say that that's what their plan is, show me the evidence of them doing the plan. Great. Fine. Who cares? Their highest deity is an imaginary friend they made up. Their highest deity isn't real, just like Satan's not real. Their highest deity is imaginary. If they push a plan, if they push a
if you were never thought history,
law,
does that now mean that you shouldn't be concerned if someone puts a swastika on your dollar bill?
Of course I would be concerned with that. The symbol means something to the people of today. The symbol of this pyramid, even if you're 100% correct, means nothing to the normal people today. That emoji that I just typed means nothing to me. You can put it on a dollar bill and it will mean the exact same as that pyramid. Nothing. Now, if they want to pass a law, I will look at that law and I will determine whether or not that law is just or right, and I will decide whether or not I support it or not. Based on my feelings, my morality, that I have come to agree with. Now, Tyler, don't deviate or yap. Do you hate the GOP's core message of God, family, and country? I think that those are their virtue signals. I think that the God that they're talking about isn't real. I think the family they're talking about is a specific type of family. They don't accept other types. And then the country, they have very much misconstrued what the country is supposed to be. I think the people, specifically, if those are your values, Tyler, are looking out for themselves and not everyone.
Yes, I am not an occultist either. Their deity is imaginary. That's not the point though. It's irrelevant if you know what it means. The point is that you can research it and find out it's an open admission that America is corrupt and controlled by a deep state of occultists, else they wouldn't have the power to put this on your currency.
Yeah, Valerie, you're right, a heteronormative family specifically, which leaves people out. Tyler, those things that you mentioned, the God,
At
the country, and the family,
has it should be thank you.
Those things that you mentioned are boxes. And if you don't fit inside that box, you might not like them pushing that as reality, as the people who should be in charge, as all the people who ought to be the most important in making all the decisions. I can appreciate you not liking
there's
that.
no evidence that a heteronormative family is better than any other family.
Oh, I lost the act. So, well, the man who let's see. I don't care what they think. The man who I care what they do. If they push a law I don't like, I'll push against it. There's lots of evidence that we're corrupt right now. And it doesn't require magic thinking and pyramid symbols. They're breaking the law. Donald Trump is breaking the law right now by sending people to El Salvador and
Respect
gulags.
to Waldo for keeping all this straight in his head and gaming on top of that Master 2002 Sharkalov.
The man who, like, I don't care what imaginary deities they have inside their head. I care what laws they pass today. Right today, Donald Trump is sending people to a gulag in El Salvador. That is wrong. That is illegal. We should be fighting against that. Stop allowing him to do that. I don't need proof that they have a drawing on their dollar bill to stand against them. I can stand against them for the actions they have taken because those are bad actions. Doesn't matter to me which deity you follow if you're doing bad things. Wait, wasn't I just here? It's down there.
Hell yeah. Protect your community that is made up of quite literally only immigrants.
Okay, Tyler, great. I'm glad you brought it up. Tyler says, God equals believers and agnostics. Well, what if I don't want to believe? Family equals normal families with a dad and a mom. What if I'm not a part of that family? Are you leaving me out? Are you saying that I'm not as good as you? That's a moral stance that you're taking, Tyler, and there are people who will have different moral stances than you. Do they get to vote? Do they get to be a part of the community? Do they get to be a part of the country? If you tell me only people who agree with you get to vote, that's not democracy. That's awful. I hate that. You're allowed to have morals, man, but you're not allowed to tell other people that they're not, or their morals are bad or wrong.
Who has no actual power and just plays a ping-pong game between two parties that are 99% identical to make you believe you have a choice. In reality, all of the actions of your country are already decided by this deep state.
The man who, like, you are making accusations again. Donald Trump is a tool. Great. He has no actual power. He just dropped your conspiratorial thinking again. Where are these parties? The man who, like you, think that there's some deep state cabal and they're not real. Where are they? I haven't seen them. You're making accusations, but no evidence of some evil puppet master. There are no puppet masters. It's terrifying, but there are no adults. There are only men. There are only people.
At the manhole like keep speaking brother 100 double underlined 100 double underlined 100 double underlined.
Tyler, you don't have to agree. Okay, great. Vote for Stein and you will lose. Yeah, entirely
They're
possible.
everywhere, Waldo, everywhere.
Where? I haven't seen one. Where are they? You're pointing them out. Oh, Shinsinto said that. Sorry. They're everywhere. They're around us. They're surrounding us everywhere we go. The Illuminati is looking at us, measuring us. There are only people.
The deep state fallacy falls apart when you look at the stuff the government tried to keep secret in the past XD.
Yeah, I agree. The deep state conspiracy is a conspiracy. It sounds sexy to think that there are all these really powerful people who are controlling the world. It makes you feel better, doesn't it? To think that even if they're doing bad things, at least somebody's in charge. I'm telling you, man, the world is just chaos.
Aliens exists.
I have seen no evidence, Tyler.
Okay, you are dumb.
No, man, there's no evidence. Where's the evidence? Bring it. Tell me what it is. The evidence is lacking.
Donald Trump is talking shit. That's it, he's talking about invading Canada and whatever. He's a complete moron elected for Fox News. In reality, the only one of his decisions that will actually happen are what the deep state want.
The deep state is not real. Guys, it's just not there. There's no evidence that this thing is happening. There's no evidence that they exist. Who are they? Where are they? Where do they live?
So do you, Tyler. Smiley face.
What did I miss? Yeah, he's talking shit about invading Canada because there's nobody actually in charge. There is no overriding authority. Yeah, his decisions that will have to happen are only what the deep state want. They live in Israel and Sweden. No, I don't think so. But then prove some evidence of them telling him what to do and how to do it.
Honestly, FCK Canada to one, American to another.
No, Canada's awesome. And they're the ones standing up to him. I'm glad they're doing it. Canada's doing fine. They should resist Donald Trump. He is an idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about. And what I'm saying is, I'm enraged. Well, if in there. I'm just filling in the map, you guys. That's what this part of the game is about, just filling in the map.
The deep state is half real in that there are impotent politicians and there are the people who control them. The half that is incorrect is that this isn't beatingly obvious.
I know, right? I agree with you, Bella. There is no deep state. It's just the people, and sometimes the people are stupid. And they elect idiots who are also stupid. If people don't take the Illuminati seriously, they have no power.
You were a Republican?
Was I Republican? I was raised in a conservative place in Texas. And then I left and traveled the world and met human beings and said, oh, okay, well, half the things that I was taught are wrong and dumb. And then I started reading the Bible, and that made me into an atheist. Because it's filled with magic. And I don't believe in magic. They like to believe that Trump is not a felon, but Biden is some high crime. Yeah, I know. Deep state bullshit. I know that Biden cheated while Donald Trump... So follow me here. If you follow the conspiracy theorist, Donald Trump was the president and in charge of the government. But the deep state still cheated and got Biden elected.
Waldo Politics, do you really think Donald Trump is going to invade Canada and bomb North Korea? He's just screaming for the news. The role of politicians in your country is the same as that of influencers and media. I do not think the deep state is like this gathering of people in suits. It's rich people, companies, and so on. They are in control.
They're not in control. The man who, like you, give them entirely too much credit. Are they trying to control things? Sure. Are they completely in control? No. They all just lost a ton of money on the damn stock market. Because they're not actually as controlling and they're not in charge as you think they are or as they would like to be. They want to be in charge. They want to be controlling. They want to direct all of the U.S. policy, yes, but the policy is a mess. The world is chaotic and they fail often. Trying to control things and controlling things is two completely different fucking things, man. Where am I headed? I am headed to that piece over there. So we're going to go left for quite a while. Exactly, you're an atheist, so the GOP is not compatible with you. It's compatible with the great majority of the country. That's fine. That is their morality. And why do they trust the church? Because it makes them feel good. It makes them feel better about who they are and what they are and how the world works, man. All politics is based on feelings. They don't make me feel good. The church makes me think that people are being left out. It makes me think that they are exclusionary. The very first thing a religion does is segregation. The very first thing any religion does is segregation. The believers and the not believers. Us versus them. The very first thing all religions do. Doesn't matter which one. We believe this and the other people don't. And
yeah.
you're right.
That's a very useful observation.
And once you recognize that all the religions are segregating people, you can maybe get better. Maybe do a better job. You might recognize why
For
somebody
example,
wouldn't want to be
in
segregated
South
against.
Korea, Samsung got politicians arrested. They have Samsung universities. You need to get into that, force people to move to the capital cities to buy apartments bought and rented out by Samsung with their Samsung TVs and Samsung smart fridge and so on. It's essentially shameless America not even attempting to hide the corruption.
That's a problem of capitalism, the man who like. That's a capitalist problem. Stop being capitalist. I'm not a capitalist. I would push more for a market socialism. Tyler, it's awful to be a liberal on the land of the free, man, when you have to accept that EC and churches are tax-free. I mean, I don't like the fact that they're tax-free. I think most of conservatism, now you might argue with me here, most of conservatism is about control and anti-freedom. Conservatism tells you all day long what you cannot do. No, you can't have a same-sex marriage. No, you can't have an abortion. No, you can't have blue hair. No, you can't wear that. No, you can't act like that. No, you can't listen to that rap music. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't.
If you believe that, then how do you deny that your country is controlled by companies and not the people?
I don't deny that. The man who woke. They are. The man who the man who woke. They are controlled by companies. We are drowning in capitalistic power right now. And all those capitalists are fighting each other all the time. Those capitalists are not secretly meeting and controlling your thoughts through magic rituals. They are controlling you through media. They're controlling you through messaging. They're controlling you through, or trying to control you through those messages and stuff like that. But they're not controlling you through magical symbols on the dollar bill, my guy. They're controlling you through forcing you to
Great.
work.
So you agree there's a deep state?
That's not a deep state. If you want to change the definition of deep
Did I
state,
mention mind control?
I assumed you did, since you're talking about the symbols of the Illuminati fucking symbols, man. Great. They're trying to control you through media. They're trying to control
They're
you.
not planning which atrocity will grab your attention. They're just fighting for the proverbial throne, and atrocities happen.
That's what absolutely. Valor has put it very well. They're not deciding what happens tomorrow. They're all making their own wacky, calculated plans, and sometimes shit goes wrong and shit gets ugly. That's it. There are only men. There are no deities running these things. There's no magical power. The symbolism only works if you know what the symbols are and if you feel like they're doing things, or if they're important at all.
I am not saying the symbol on the bill is controlling you.
Okay, good.
Just that the bill is a blatantly obvious admission. It's like they're insulting your intelligence.
Okay, so who cares? They've insulted my intelligence. Half of us don't even notice. Who cares? What are they pushing? What bill are they putting out? Let's back off the esotericism and get into the reality.
God bless America / land that I love / stand behind her and guide her / through the night with the light of above / to the mountains / to the prairies / to the ocean / white with foam / God bless America, my home sweet home X2.
I agree, Tyler. America is a great place. I wish Donald Trump would quit shitting all over it. America's a great place. I wish the fascists that follow him would stop harming people to make themselves feel better. Because that's what Trumpism is about. That's what MAGA is about. Harming the people you don't like. They don't like Venezuelans, so they're sending them to a gulag. They don't like immigrants, so they're sending them out of the country. They don't like liberals, so they're making them cry by shitting on the things that the liberals like America. Donald Trump is harming my country, and I would like him to stop. Elon Musk is ruining my country with his unfettered, unstopped capitalism,
No, you
and I
don't
want
love
him to
America
quit.
when you want to make it socialistic.
Madness, Tyler. You reread the sentence you just said and realize how ignorant it is. I want America to be better, and I think socialism would be better.
LOL. Socialism cares about people, unlike what we have now. Smiley face.
Socialism would make the people better. I like the American
Every
people.
bill that's been put out is theirs. Do you really think Donald Trump buying people out of prison with political power is his decision? No. He is a paid employee. It's all just rich companies working together. And yes, they may have disagreements, but you bet that they mostly work together to have MRE power.
The degree to which they work together
No
can be
socialism
argued.
cares about controlling the people.
No, it doesn't, Tyler. You misunderstand it severely. I mean, if you don't know, I'm telling you, that's a bad definition, Tyler. People can believe bad definitions.
At Themanhole like okay, you're almost close to the truth. But please stop calling this a deep state XD. Nobody will take you seriously.
Valor, I would agree with Valor there. If you want to talk about how capitalism is ruining us and harming our country, you can. But if you start talking about the deep state and the fact that there's a pyramid on the dollar bill, you lose people, man.
At Valhor 666, it literally is a deep state, a group of people who have power hidden by the public behind a front of a fake government. At Themanhole like it's not hidden at all XD.
Well, then it's not a deep state, man. When you use terms like the deep state, you're putting yourself in the tinfoil hat crowd. You can say, hey, they're doing they're controlling you through the media and stuff like that, and we can all appreciate that. But you gotta be careful with your language. Words
Check out Waldo's videos.
should
https://www.youtube.com/@waldospoliticalstream/videos.
Yeah, there's a swamp in DC, Tyler. I agree. And it's all based on money. It's all based on capital. Power through dollar bills, Tyler. Not on the not with the triangle that's on the dollar bills, but the fact that it can give you more power and authority if you have more of them. That's not a conspiracy. Like, money is power.
At Themanhole like yeah, but that's just because the people have been told this and most of them don't care enough to check for themselves XD.
Yeah, people are busy playing video games.
At Tyler_the_alpha * fishhook theory.
Horseshoe theory does make kind of some sense. I can recognize where you could go so far that you come back around. It kind of happens with the people who go so far left that they start loving Russia or China or some shit like that because of American diabolism, which I think is a bad thing. Don't fall into that category. Don't accidentally think that America is doing such bad things that you start supporting their enemies. That's a bad idea. That's horseshoe theory that I've seen in person.
Are you a traitor?
Am I a traitor? No. I believe in freedom, Tyler. I trust freedom. I like freedom. I want more freedom.
LOL XD, you're funny, Tyler.
I would like human beings to have more freedom, and they don't get that freedom, Tyler, from conservatism.
And it's not just companies buying over politicians. The elections are controlled by the companies. The military is controlled by them. The government themselves are working for this deep state.
That's not a deep state, the man who it's just
I consider
1,000 different...
a traitor since he does nothing but lie to you.
That's not a deep state, the man who that's just capitalism. You're describing capitalism. Capitalism is huge. It's gigantic. It's
Tyler's
massive.
red cap is cutting at the oxygen to his brain.
Founding father, Tyler's red cap is cutting oxygen to his brain. Very nice. Would our founding fathers be proud turning the country to... if it's good for the people, they would. Yes. Tyler, socialism would be better for the people than the capitalist poison that we're surrounded by today. Of the people, for the people, by the people. That doesn't happen with capitalism, man. Is Elon of the people, by the people, for the people? No, he's not. Elon is doing what makes him more money. What gives him more power and authority. He does not give a shit about you or your votes. He's buying votes. Elon is buying votes. Tyler. What would the founding fathers think about Elon buying votes? I suggest to you that they would not like that. So is George Soros? No, he's not. George Soros is donating to people, which I still think is wrong. We should get money out of politics, but he's doing it the right way, the legal way. George Soros is far more legal than Elon Trump.
What do you think of people calling Trump King Trump?
I think that makes sense to call him a king, because that's what he's doing. He's acting like a king. He's ignoring the courts. He's ignoring court orders. He's doing whatever he damn well feels like. He's ignoring all the things. And he's probably going to suggest that his son take over after him. And Barron can be Lisan al-Gaib, the one who was promised.
There's a specific group of families, companies, and celebrities that are in this deep state. It's not just money equals power. It's a group that you have to join through occultism. They didn't join it by being rich. Sure, you are probably going to have to be rich to join, but you can bet that you need to align with their ideology to join the cult.
The man who woke, you have no evidence of that. You don't. Provide some evidence. That isn't just somebody telling a fun story on YouTube. Tyler, I think doing what's good for the American people and increasing their freedom is valuable.
At P-Man Holike, and that's the deep state part that doesn't even matter if it's real XD. Please owe yourself a favor and just talk about capitalist corruption.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Valor. The man who, if they did a ceremony,
That's the
who
reason
cares?
I care to begin with.
You care because of a ceremony? Ceremonies have no value. Ceremonies have no value except the value you place on them. You are placing that value on their imaginary friend talk.
Ceremony is just symbolism.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve Bannon already said Trump is going to run for a third term.
See, now that is a thing that could happen and is based on law. Okay? So, if he's running for a third term...
At Tyler_the_Alpha King move.
That's a thing that could happen. That is a thing that might be in reality. His ceremony is not of value to me. The deep state is anyone that is rich that doesn't agree with me. Yeah, what you see is real nice.
No, that's an alpha move.
Deep state meaningless buzz phrase that no one will know or say 100 years from now. Absolutely correct. Name one official that is a member of the deep state. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The deep state is, you can complain about capitalism, but do it right. Do it in an intelligent way.
Not a U.S. citizen.
Running for a third term would be against the Constitution. Tyler, I thought you liked the Constitution. Do you just like it when it agrees with you? That's what I think you are. I think you're a fair weather fucking constitutionalist. If the Constitution agrees with Tyler, then he likes the Constitution. If it disagrees with him, then it's probably written by some fucking liberal idiot who shouldn't be listened to.
Alpha as in video game test version alpha. Extremely rough. Barely functional first draft. Lohas one whom. Not if Scottish rules he can.
Then the Supreme Court would be ignoring the Constitution. I don't like that either. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't like conservatism. They don't have any values or ethics or guidelines or morals.
No,
they do what they
ruled he can.
Because they ruled he can. And in doing so, they would disregard what the Constitution literally says. And you're okay with that because it makes you feel good, man. It makes you feel good that Waldo's upset that Donald Trump broke the Constitution, so you're okay with it. It's just cool, man. As long as it makes the liberals sad,
Ergo
you're on
Constitutional
board.
Crisis 3.
You have no ethics except for winning. You have only one moral, and that's get more power. Make Waldo sad. Make the liberals cry. If that's your only moral, I don't want you in charge of the government. I recognize that's a feeling.
At Tyler_the_alpha, it doesn't matter. Kamala and Trump are basically the same person with a different video game skin. Essentially,
Christ
Kamala
almighty,
is
that's
black
stupid.
woman Trump to attract feminists, homosexuals, and these people who think we need to pay back black people by making them in political positions. And Trump is Kamala, but a white Christian nationalist. It's a joke.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. The man who I was on board with you for the conspiracy theories, but Kamala and Trump are basically the same person. He's incredibly stupid. It really is. Kamala and Trump are basically the same person. That's very, very, very stupid. You shouldn't say such stupid things. They would pass different laws, and in passing those different laws, that has different outcomes on who gets to enforce the laws and the rules and stuff like that. The rules will be enforced completely differently, and the laws will be different. That's a change.
OMG. I love that XD, thanks. Shin. Has one salute. One is a professional, the other is a felon.
I know, right? Like, Donald Trump doesn't care what the law says. He operates based on only his feelings. Kamala is a prosecutor, the same as Trump. Yeah, exactly. See, that's why I avoid the conspiracy theory. That's why I push back on you so hard, the man you like, because your conspiracy theories have led you to a place of stupidity. I'm not telling you shouldn't look up the history of the pyramid. I'm not telling you not to pay attention to the people who are pushing bad ideas. I'm telling you don't have such an open mind that your brain falls out. That's where you are right now. You have a very open mind and your brain fell out. And now you're saying things like Donald Trump and Kamala are the same person. Your brain fell out.
Oh, is Waldo a Tim Minchin fan?
I don't know who Tim Minchin is, sorry. I might know who it is. I think I've heard that name before, but I'm not entirely sure.
Shit, XD. Comedy musician.
Oh, comedy musician. Yeah, okay. Cool. Tim Minchin. Yeah, I think I've heard his name before. I'm cheesing through this level because I've been through it before and it pisses me off.
He has a song called If You Open Your Mind Too Much, Your Brain Will Fall Out.
Okay, so yeah, that's a common complaint that people have of conspiracy theorists. Thank you for following Henry Kissinger's Ghost. That's very cool of you to give us a follow over on the Twitch. You just turned a frog gay. Hope you're proud of yourself. You turned a frog gay. This is your fault. Henry Kissinger's Ghost. You turned a frog gay. I know, right? Now we got ghosts in chat. I think this is great. Even though I have been telling you that ghosts don't exist. I don't think ghosts exist. I think that's just a regular person with a cool username.
Ghosts.
Zoink Scoo, it's a ghost. So what I'm interested in is reality in the real world and how it intersects with me and the people.
Disrespect the mountains of ghost-oriented literature.
Have you read a whole bunch of really interesting books about ghosts and now you think they're real? All right, hang on. This one it got brought up. Okay, I'm going to allow this from the auto mod because I'm going to argue with it. Both Trump and Kamala want to bomb Palestine. So that is something that they would both be on the side of. That doesn't make them the same person. Both of them want to support LGBTQ and so on. Both of them want to support. Trump does not want to support the trans people. He hates them. These things that they differ on are just attention begging. Trump made executive orders to make only 2 genders, and Kamala wouldn't have. There's a difference, boss. I think they are only 2 genders. Okay, well then you're wrong. This is executive order won't actually do anything. I agree with you. It won't do anything. It just to make these white nationalist Christian types think that they actually have any say in the country. I agree with you that but no, you're wrong. They're already changing passports. They're already changing driver's licenses in the states based on that. There are only 2 genders executive order. So you're wrong there. Like literally, actually, saying that the gender executive order is just virtue signaling, literally incorrect at this moment. Incorrect. Now, are there more than 2 genders? Yes, gender's an infinite
Trump
spectrum.
left a church thing where a preacher told him that trans people in his country are suffering because of him, and his reaction was very much not positive.
Absolutely. Kamala would not have put out that executive order. She might have ignored the trans people. That would make sense. She did ignore them during the campaign. But she wouldn't have passed that executive order. That executive order is horseshit and bad and harmful. And I would really like for Donald Trump to stop harming the people of this country with virtue signal, with his opinions.
My body. Then for the master, I'll feast on your soul this night.
So I'm going to continue to kill. I'm going to kill death here. I hope you guys are. Press the like button, press the follow button, press the subscribe button while I kill death.
Also, Kamala might have let Israel keep bombing. Trump would probably like to personally contribute. YK?
Right, pausing to read. Kamala might have let Israel keep bombing. Trump would probably like to personally contribute. Yeah, exactly, Valor. Kamala would have allowed them, but she wouldn't be talking about claiming the land. She wouldn't be talking about taking Greenland. She wouldn't be talking about taking Canada. She wouldn't be talking about taking back Panama. She would not have done those things, meaning that there's a big difference between them, you see? They're not the same person.
And building fucking resorts.
I know, building resorts. The driver's license is just a piece of paper. No, man. The driver's license is a part of being part of our society, my man. That's not just nothing. The driver's license is far more real than the imaginary fucking rituals that the deep state does. You actually think this deep state cares what it says on a piece of paper? Trump is not going to enforce the death penalty for homosexuals and transgenders. He might.
It doesn't matter.
He's just going to do stuff that makes public happy and doesn't actually matter.
The D state to invade Greenland, man.
It doesn't matter what Trump talks about. He's going to be allowed the deep state to invade Greenland. It doesn't matter what Trump talks about. He's not going to be allowed. You've read the deep state's mind. You can't even tell me who they are, and you know their thoughts and their ideas. Nonsense. You live in an imaginary world. The driver's license is a very important thing that identifies who you are and what you're allowed to do. Some states will allow immigrants to have them, and some states don't. This is important. This is a distinction. Can't even tell me who the deep state is, but you think that you can read their minds and know what they're thinking and what they're going to make, what decisions they're going to make at any given time. That's just like your opinion, man. It's like, what do you think about them? Gotta bring the demon out. Hang on. I killed death. Good job, Waldo. Thank you.
Good job, Waldos.
You're welcome. Everybody, nobody can die anymore because I killed death. We're going to bring out the demon card, and he's going to come out here, and he's going to press this button for us. Nice guy that he is.
I'm ready to serve, Master.
Immortality. Woohoo.
Yeah, you guys are great now.
Wait, immortality. Blue has one not like this.
This switch hasn't been pressed yet.
I don't even think Trump himself wants to do these things. He knows that's not going to happen.
We can't tell anymore because he is so fucking chaotic that we don't know what's actually going to happen, who's going to take him seriously or not. there's no way to know whether he's being truthful, being honest, trolling, or just trying to get attention, or what is and isn't making him more money. He cannot be trusted.
He would like to have more power over more land. Smiley face.
I agree. He does want more power. Is he just shit-talking this whole Greenland thing? Is it just a ploy? He put out an executive order that just says men are men and women are women, and there's no such thing as no more than two genders. I was told he wasn't going to do that. I have been told 1,000 things that he isn't going to do that he then did. He cannot be trusted. He is chaos. And sometimes that chaos gets acted upon. Sometimes the people who listen to him think he's being real when he's just being silly. And I don't like that.
He personally wants as much power for himself. That's a shitty, fascist leadership.
I agree. He wants more power, and if he gets more power by pretending that he's, or blustering about Greenland.
At Valhor 666, if Trump invades these countries like Canada or Greenland, he will completely ruin his country, cause civil wars, and have the entire world's military destroy his country. He knows this. All he wants is attention.
I don't think he knows that, man. I don't think he's intelligent enough to know things. I think he is a moron. He's barely literate.
It's just to make him seem like some strong leader so he can get more money and more prostitutes on his dick.
Yeah, that's if you would, I wouldn't argue with that stance so much. I don't think he knows what he's doing. He's just shit talking. Any sovereign citizens in the chat? The deep state stuff is giving me Soviet vibes. Yeah, I could appreciate that.
Does Duke a sovereign citizen? XD.
Oh, Valor, it's an American thing. A sovereign citizen. They have weird opinions about the law, and they talk about how it. They have their own laws that they say that they're. You can't control them, and you can't put certain laws on them because we're under admiralty or something like that. They think they found a cheat code, a loophole in all the American laws, and then they will tell you that loophole in that cheat code.
Is it like Texas is a sovereign state?
They think that the laws don't apply to them because of certain situations and certain reasoning, and when they try to use those things, they usually get shit on.
They will tell you about these cheat codes while getting arrested.
Yeah, exactly. They tell you about the cheat codes, and then when they get arrested by the cops, they're like, "No, that doesn't count. This is the cheat code." And then the cops are like, "Nope, that doesn't. That's not a real thing. That's not a cheat code. There is no cheat codes." And I kind of agree that those cops also are controlled by political power and capitalist power. I agree that they have certain capitalist leanings. They are more interested in protecting.
Just carry a get out of jail free card.
Yeah. I can appreciate that the cops are more interested in protecting property than people these days. That's a capitalist. That's a complaint you have about capitalism. They're more interested in the target getting looted than the people who are being harmed by the system. That's a complaint that we can have. We can bring that up. We can talk about that. And I think that's interesting. When the people protest, the cops don't care. When the people break into a target during that protest, the cops show up and hate it. I recognize that they're more interested in property than people. And that is a complaint that I can have. That's a thing that I can do. And we can discuss that. We can talk about ways to fix that. We can talk about ways to change that.
America will keep bombing the same foreign countries and have the same political structure no matter who you elect. All that they will differ on is going to be whether transgenders have their imaginary sex on their passport or how many Mexicans will enter the country. Nothing that the deep state cares about.
To an extent,
As men who like both still important thigh-beaks.
I think that you are talking about you're making some good points there, the man who like. America will keep bombing the same foreign countries unless we elect someone from the left. The Democrats aren't on the left, guy. Listen, the Democrats aren't the left. They're the center. And that's why they agree with the right so often, because they are closer to them. President Bernie would not continue bombing Israel. President AOC would not continue bombing Israel.
https://www.youtube.com/@waldospoliticalstream/videos.
Thank you, Robot Lady. What I'm telling you is that President Bernie would not continue bombing Israel. President AOC will not continue bombing Israel. If you actually move left, the man who like, things can change. The Dems don't want to move left. They want to stay in the center where all the money is. The center or the right. There is no money on the left. That's why they don't do that. I don't know if you've recognized that, but there's no money on the left. The left is anti-money. They're anti-capitalist. There's no money there. So the Dems don't want to go there because then they will starve. And they need billions to run their campaigns. I recognize this.
The right has money. The left has morals. Blue has one shrug.
I would agree with that, Valor. There's no money in morals. There's no money in telling people the truth. Where do you get your most of the money? From telling idiots what they want to hear. Telling rubes that the thing that they feel is true. The truth rarely needs to be double backed up. You don't have to hear the truth every day for you to appreciate it. You have to hear your opinions every day to appreciate them and know that people have your back. Watch Fox News for a few minutes and you will see them just reaffirm those morals, that family, country, God moral over and over and over again for eternity.
Not necessarily the religious kind, but also the conspiracy theorist kind.
Yeah, believers. Belief needs to be reinforced constantly. Why can't I kill this lady? Belief has to be reinforced.
There are two parties, Deep State 1 and Deep State 2. It doesn't matter if your vote goes to any other party, your vote will be shoved down Donald Trump fat stomach. It's not the left vs the right. It would be better than it is now if you were to give an actual power, not elect but give actual power to some random homeless guy.
Absolutely stupid. No, I'm doubting your intelligence now. There is a difference between the Democrat and the Republican Party. It's small, but there is a difference. We don't have a left-leaning party in America. We have a center party, which is the Democrats. We have a right-wing party, which is the Republicans, because it is a conservative country that I live in. I would like to move it to the left. The Deep State 1 and Deep State 2. So that word has no meaning anymore.
As long as the homeless guy realizes that he's supposed to be working for the people, yes, things would be way better XD.
The homeless guy might recognize and might not be on the take that all the Democrats are on, because they need that money. They need that dosh so they can get elected again. What I'm telling you is that there is no left in America. The left has no money because of capitalism, and we are suffering because of it. So what we have is a bad choice to make between Republican and Republican light. Those are your choices.
Homeless is unconnected. Blue has one wicked homeless for president.
Yeah, exactly. The homeless guy doesn't have... he hasn't been bought yet. He could probably be bought if you throw out the things that he wants and needs, then he could be bought. And I think that you might be able to buy him. And how do you buy politicians? With money, with power, with authority. How do you get that power and authority? With money. Capitalism is the problem we're having. I'm having a problem with the fucking ice falling from the goddamn sky.
Cheap viewers on streamblue.com. Remove the space. Service 3.
Ooh, see, a bot.
Oh, thanks for the advice, robot.
Yeah, everybody listen to the robot. See, and why is that robot telling us to do stuff? Capitalism. They want some money too. Whoever streamboo.com is, they want your money. And if you give them money, they'll be able to buy more bots, and they'll be able to get on more streams, and then they'll get more money, and then they'll convince their then they'll go public, and they'll get some investors, and they'll have a stock, and they can sell that stock for money. Let's put on the spike breaker. I'm not saying you're wrong about them being somewhat similar. The Man Who Like. I think you are kind of correct in here. The fact that they both want money and they both kind of fall into that same situation. But calling both the deep state has no value. You've become an unserious person at this point that lots of normies aren't going to listen to any longer. And if the normies aren't listening to you any longer, you're not playing politics properly. The trick is to get the normies to agree with you and bring them over to your side so that you can apply the good politics that makes their lives and yours better. That's the point of the politics. I need to convince normies that Donald Trump is harming them. It's a little bit easier the past couple of weeks because he is so very blatantly harmful. And there was a big protest the other day with lots of people talking about how harmful he is. This is good.
And when you say left, you stuff together a load of different things that are typically combined within American politics. I would agree it's probably better to make the country into not some ultra-capitalist hedonistic shithole, but that doesn't mean we have to go elect Mao Zedong. You do not need that in order to get rid of this insane power of rich companies, as well as the fact that leftism includes stuff that has nothing to do with money, such as transgenderism, that I do not agree with.
Okay, do you know what the left is all about, man? I can distill it down.
Nobody on the left wants Mao in power.
Nobody on the left wants Mao in power because he wasn't doing the one thing that the left loves. There's one word specifically that you can describe to the left. Anybody who's watched me for a little while will know what it is. The Man Who Like. What do you think the one word is? The one thing that the leftists are most interested in. The one thing. It comes down to a single damn word. And it is where I point all of my decisions.
I don't think I know XDMIA fake fan.
You've probably heard me say it 100
One
times.
not like this. At Valhor666, that's not true, mate. How do you think he got in power? People helped him.
What's the one word? The one word is freedom. Mao Zedong was not doing freedom. So I don't think he was doing leftism. Freedom is the word, Fowler. You've heard me say it 1,000 times.
At Femanho, like people who were not leftists or they were deceived.
Right.
Smiley face.
When he stops doing what's good for the freedom of humanity, he's not on the left anymore.
At Valhor666, what were they?
Capitalists? Yes. Mao Zedong didn't he force all of the people to become, to stop being subsistence farmers and like make iron and shit like that because he wanted to get in on the economy. He was a capitalist. He was pushing the people to stop being rural farmers and get in on this fucking industrial revolution so he could make that fucking dosh.
True. That's a capitalist move, AFXD.
I know it is. Stop farming for your food. Stop being a rural farmer and start creating iron. Dig into the ground, drag the iron out, smelt it, and sell it on the goddamn global market. He's capitalist as fuck. Freedom is what's important to a left-leaning person. Now, they can get confused and they can get misled.
Leftism or right is the horizontal axis. You are talking about the vertical axis, which is authoritarianism or libertarianism.
I'm talking about capitalism versus freedom. Capitalism generally can lead to some freedom, but at some point it goes too far and we get what we've got right now, which is the capitalist hellhole, the absolute overrun, the capitalists run amok, and you don't get to do anything unless you have money. In America, if you don't have money, you don't get a thing. You are severely hampered in America if you do not have money. You do not have money, you do not have freedom.
Where if you have money, you get to run free.
Exactly, that's the problem. That's the problem I have with America at the moment. I want to make it better, not because I hate it, but because I love it. And I want it to be better than it once was. Tyler, if you're still here, I love America and I want it to be free. You cannot be free.
There are people who are leftists but support authoritarianism, like North Koreans.
Yes, that's entirely true. Those aren't leftists. They're stupid. They're wrong. They're bad. And I would tell them that they're not leftists and they're not doing a good job, and then I would convince them. Find one for me and I will tell them that they're wrong. They're not leftists. They're American diabolists. They're American diabolist. America is the devil. How did they get to that point of supporting authoritarianism and North Koreans? Because they hate America because it does things wrong. They don't know how to, they're not smart enough to work that out.
What the devil? Ads? Is there an ad block or something for Twitch?
I have no idea, Hobo Artist. I have no idea if there's an ad block for Twitch, and I would probably get in trouble for pushing it anyway. You'd have to Google that on your own time. But yes, Twitch does have ads, because I'm also trapped in a capitalist hellhole.
North Koreans don't support the authoritarian system that oppresses them XD, and if they do, again, that's because of deception and indoctrination.
Exactly. The North Koreans don't like the system they're under unless they benefit
They hate
from it.
America because America helped the South Koreans during the Korean War and bombed them, as well as that America is internationally known as a symbol of capitalism.
Right. And you're right that they don't like America. American diabolism. They hate it because it's a terrible monster nightmare. And I don't go down that route, my man. America's not the devil. America can be wrong, and I'm gonna make it better. I have a better idea of what America can be and what it ought to be doing. And you're welcome to join me.
Human life, not capitalism, doesn't mean leftist socialism. There's too many ideologies to count.
There are an awful lot of ideologies, you're right. So I've based mine on human freedom. North Korea does not have a whole lot of human freedom. Their people aren't allowed to do what they want. They are under an authoritarian government. I do not like that style of governing. Mao Zedong was doing not
I do
freedom.
argue that North Korea has the least freedom.
I'd be okay with that. That's not an argument I would
From what I know, XD.
disagree with you on. They probably do have the least amount of freedom. America has lots and lots of freedom if you have the money.
At Balfour 666, Americans have an ideology on the bottom right. North Korea is on the top left. America is liberal and capitalist. They are authoritarian and communist. They are quite literally opposites. That's why they do not like America.
I know the spectrum you're talking about, but I would not suggest that America is liberal. I mean, I'd say it's a conservative country, and conservative capitalist country.
At men whole life, they're not communist. They just say they are.
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. North Korea is not communist. They're authoritarian.
Communist, from the word community, aka people.
Which boss is this? Oh, it's the big guy. I gotta put on the lightning armor. Where are you, lightning armor? There you are. This guy's got my fucking number, I'll tell you what.
Yes, ideology is like gender. Sewell XD.
Ideology is like gender.
Not
so,
as
yeah.
gender. Is like gender.
Is like gender. And I would agree with you. There's an awful lot of ideologies.
How are they not communists?
Are they not communists? Because they don't do communism. They lie to you. Do you know the full name for North Korea? They're the DPRK. You've heard this before, the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. They're not democratic. They're not of the people, by the people. They're not a republic. They are Korea.
In North Korea, trade is nationally banned. You get executed if you try to trade an apple for a glass of water. School children have to clean their own schools, and jobs are chosen by the government and give no salary. Instead, we get rations from the government.
Ah, damn. I died, you guys. That doesn't make you a communist. Oh, this boss is absolutely wrecking my shit.
How is a country that completely bans trade not communist?
Because that's not what communism means. The word has a meaning and you don't know it. And communism doesn't even mean I ban trade. That's not what that means. It means to each of their need and from each from their ability. It means the people on top pay for the people on bottom who are incapable.
XD.
Where did my holy swords go? Where did my heaven swords go? I might be able to get a bit better if I'm flinging heaven swords at this guy. Heaven swords, here we go. Dude, this guy is absolutely kicking the shit out of me. I don't remember him being this hard.
They all get the exact same stuff, with the exception of Kim Jong-un and his friends.
Good God. There was a trick for this guy. I don't fucking know what it was. That doesn't make it communism. Communism is of the people, by the people, for the people. To an extreme degree of from each their ability to each their need. Those people need food, and they're not getting it.
Economic ideology within the socialist movement, one whose goal is the creation of a communist society, a socio-economic order centered on common ownership of the means of production, distribution, and exchange
the means of
of
production.
Products and society based on need.
The people there don't own the means of production. They have not seized the means of production. It is it is controlled by the authoritarian dictator. It is not a communist country. Shit. How old is that?
At the man who like yes. XD.
No, yeah, the man who like no one has ever been communist.
No
None of them.
has ever been communist.
None of them.
For long. XD.
None of them. Because what they do is they promise the communism, and then when they get in charge, they abandon it, and they just go authoritarian.
Yes, the means of production is owned by the people. School children literally build the school themselves and own that school.
That's slave labor. That's not... The means of production is owning the factories. If they had a union that owned the factory, and shared the profits equally among the people within that union. That's seizing the means of production.
At Themanho, like they are forced to build the school. That's slavery, not ownership of production.
We have to kill death again because I'm bad at this game. And I'm jibber-jabbering with you instead of killing bosses.
Yes, they own the school, they own the factory, and so on.
No, they don't own the factories. There are no factories. They're all, at the best, they're fishermen and fucking farmers, right?
Themanho, like Kim owns the factory. They go to the factory that's owned by the nation, and they all get rations.
It's hard to know what is true about North Korea. There is a lot of...
66, how do you measure that?
There is a ton of misinformation about it. There is a ton of old...
How do you measure if a country owns something or its leader?
Where does the profit go? How do we measure it? Where is the profit going? Is the profit going to the people on top who are just keeping it and making themselves fat while the people starve? Not communism.
Themanho, like I know that because they see none of what they produce.
Yeah, they are not getting the benefit of their hard work. If they're getting hard work at all. If they're getting any benefit at all. I don't think they are. I think they're being abused and mistreated. What time is it? It's 12 o'clock. Okay. I am grumpy with the fact that I just died. So what I'm going to do is save it right here. I'm going to work through the, what am I doing? I'm saving the state right there. And then I'm going to get back to that boss. And then next stream, I'll fight that boss again and hopefully not die a horrible, horrible death this time. And then we can all watch it. It'll be a good time. I appreciate everybody who was here today. I had a whole lot of people watching today, so I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And we had lots of good discussion. This is what I want to do with the live stream. I want people to come in here and I want them to argue and I want to disagree with them and tell them what I think is correct and what is true. So that is a good thing. I appreciate you being here, the man who like. I really do. I'm glad you're here because I think you are filled with misinformation. And what I want to do is hopefully make real information. And I appreciate you being here. And I know thanks for being here, Valor. I appreciate you.
3 Bices Lovelies.
Love you. Thanks for being here.
Master 2002 Sharkay Love Master 2002 Shark.
What you see is you had a whole bunch of good things. This is the last one of these I'll read from you, the man who like. That's his fault. They collect the money from the nation to distribute it to the civilians. Yes, King. No, none of that is happening. Yes, King Jong-un is exception and gets sex slaves and palaces, but outside of him, it's equal. No, it's not on the broad scale. Equally, they're all serfs. Doesn't really take into the nation of money that is compared to Kim's law. They're serfs. They're not equal. If they were communist, there wouldn't be a king. There could be an administrator who runs the thing, but the fact that he has palaces...
All the slaves are equal.
Yeah, all of the slaves of Kim Jong-un are equal. Great. But if they were communist, he wouldn't exist. They would overthrow them. They would be making the decisions on what gets created, and they would have the means of production. They don't have the means of production. I know you said they did. They don't. The fact that they're forced to build a school isn't the means of production. The means of production means that they decide what they produce. Then when they sell it, they all get some slice of the pie, depending on how much they put in. They would have strong labor unions. They would have strong labor leaders, and they wouldn't have a single dictator running the show. That's not communism.
Like also the nation's money is Kim's allowance.
And yeah, and if Kim wants more money, then he takes it, and they can say nothing about it. They'll get murdered, they'll get killed, and they're filled with propaganda. Man, they are not communist. They say they are, but they also say that they're a democratic republic.
Now you're just saying that having a dictator makes it not communism.
Yes. Literally yes. Literally yes. Literally yes. Literally yes. If you have a dictator, you're not doing communism. Your communism's wrong.
He doesn't spend all that money. That's not even humanly possible.
If you have a dictator, you're not doing communism. It's not. Definitionally not. You can call it that. You can call it flibbity-flop for all you want. You can call it a democratic people's republic, but it won't be.
But he owns it.
You can call yourself a democratic republic, Korea, but you won't be a Democrat. You won't be democracy.
It's
you won't
his
be a
money
republic.
because it's
You
his
won't be of the
country.
people. The Nazis called themselves National Socialists. They were
dictatorship.
not socialist, my man. They weren't. Bad guys often lie. The man who
no.
The bad guys often lie. The bad guys often lie. The Nazis were not socialist, and the DRPK is not democratic, it's not Republican, it's not of the people.
Rations fro MTHE government.
That doesn't make you a fucking
Like
communist.
Spice Pal Patton.
Having one little bit of food thrown at you doesn't make you a communist. It doesn't. I appreciate everybody's here. Thank you very much. I love you. I will be back on Wednesday to read the news again. This is coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. West Coast, Best Coast time. Thanks for coming in. I like you. I appreciate you. Swing on by
They cannot afford more THA
the
that.
Discord. If you'd like to continue talking, if you'd like to leave links and things that we can feel all out, we'll talk about the news on Wednesday. And until I will be back unless
they could if Kim wouldn't sit on the money 3.
unless the brown shirts kick in my door and drag me off to the gulag. I will be back on Wednesday. So that is it for me tonight.
Thank you for
today.
following Hobo Artist. Smiley face.
Hobo Artist, you just turned into frog. I hope you're proud of yourself. Thank you for pressing the follow button. Go to the YouTube link as well. You can see all my old
if Kim
stuff.
gave up all his money and split it equally upon the public, they would each only gain like $2.
There's more to it than that. Communism is a giant thing that's this big. And you're like looking at this one little dot and saying, well, they didn't do this dot, so they're not communist. And I dig that. I recognize why you would do that. You've been confused about what it actually is. It's more than money. So go on over to the YouTube. You can watch old videos, and you can tell me what you think about those. Go press the follow button, press the subscribe button, and then tell me how much you hate me in the comments, because the YouTube algorithm is powered by hate.